Rockeyez would like to welcome Lucas, lead singer of Serosia. Hey, man, what's up? Did I get that right?
How are you?
Did I get that right?
You got it right.
Cool.
Yeah, you got that right.
Cool. So, tell me a little bit about the band, when it started and stuff like that, so I get a little background.
Okay, so Serosia began in 2007. It started off with our guitar player, Derek, and our original lead guitar player, Scott Horner. It was actually through the, I guess you would say, the initial Kickstarter of social media for us, MySpace. And it was basically just an ad that had been posted by Derek and Scott. They kind of linked up and met up. One thing led to another, and they started writing songs and compiled a band. They called in me, and I, have always played with my brother, and, it's a long story, but long story short, I wasn't going to play in the band without him, so they got me involved, and that was kind of the beginnings of Serosia in 2007. We got everything together and compiled 6 songs and went in and recorded our first record before we ever did a show, and once we finished the record, we started gigging out.
Cool. And that was The Current State of Being.
That's correct.
Right. After that came in 2010, you also put out another EP, Perspective of Balance, which you recorded in my home state of New Jersey here.
Yes.
Why'd you pick New Jersey?
Well, after we did The Current State of Being, that was actually the first record that Serosia had, but as individuals, all of us had been doing music for our whole lives and doing projects in and around Texas. And really we wanted to get out of Texas just for the mindset, pretty much 100% just to get out and explore the world a little bit more than the sound that we were hearing in Texas. Even though there was a lot of different studios being used around town by the locals, the sound was kind of similar, and to us it was kind of flat at the time. So we wanted to, for one, get away from our comfortable mindset of being at home and around everything that, is secure, and getting out there and just, knowing it's just us 5 at the time, and everything kind of relied on that mindset.
Cool. Now you got a new EP out, Variables. Chip from Chipster sent it over to me. I really enjoyed your vocals. It's very smooth, entertaining to me. It reminds me of a lot of bands. I can't remember what bands they were, but like you have a phenomenal voice, which I really enjoyed.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
No problem. Now, Chipster, what are they doing for you?
Chip has been pretty much amazing. He's our PR rep, and once we got in contact with him, things started rolling pretty good for us. We were looking for someone reputable, and the first person that came to mind was Chip. Our manager is Christian Machado from El Nino, the singer of El Nino. And when we brought the idea to him that we were thinking about bringing Chip on board, he was 100% for it. He had known of him previous to us bringing it up to him, and all the interactions that we have in the business, everybody knows Chip, so it kind of made sense, and all the puzzle pieces fit together better when you already know the person.
Cool. Now you have 5 tracks on the EP. Can you go down each song and tell me a little bit about each track and a meaning behind it, or what your feelings are towards it?
Yeah. Well, the album itself is Variables, and the title was basically just loosely based around each one of the songs representing something completely different, and it's a theme without a theme, I guess you would say. Starting off from the top, Superposition, that's our single that we put out. Superposition is kind of based around the quantum theory of, a particle existing in 2 places in space at once. And the lyrics kind of relate that to personal experience, where it's an attempt to be broad at being 2 people, I guess you would say, and existing the same life. I guess when I wrote it, I subliminally was relating it to having a 9 to 5 and, constantly my whole life working on my music and, striving to be 100% in my music, while all the while having to put on this, face to go and take care of business at work. And I don't know, it came together as a really cool song to kind of like mix the two, the black and white there. So
cool.
That's
I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that song.
Yeah, that's one of our favorites for sure. The Architect, number 2, that song was probably our most inspired songwriting in the whole session. Normally, lyrics are written by me, and just strictly by me. It's never been a rule or anything in Serosia, but it's just kind of how we work. And with The Architect, we approached that from the beginning, just with the idea behind the song, which was all of us are, somewhat, I would say, extremely spiritual about our music, and it's really deep to us. It's not one of those things that's kind of we do it for chicks or we do it for getting drunk or whatever. It's really a deeper meaning to us, and we're really about consciousness and staying in tune and all that. And The Architect was all about creating the world around you and knowing that as you create your existence, basically, and the more that you realize that, the more you'll notice it in your life. And that's basically the meaning behind The Architect.
Cool. Next track, Friendly Fire.
Friendly Fire, that one is kind of that's probably the most heavy song on the EP, but it's also the most positive lyrically. It's kind of a take with going off of others' failures, other people's failures, and using that as your ammo to succeed, and never stopping, never giving up. One of the best lines in that, can you feel the light escaping over all the other people taking notes, was really deep to us, because in our town there's a lot of musicians, a lot of people making music, and it seems oversaturated at times, and we're friends with everybody out here, but it gets to a point where sometimes you go out and you just wonder, if these people are taking themselves seriously or what the deal is out here in the scene, because, it just it's regurgitated kind of, and, we always have felt like we're kind of a fresh face on rock music in general, and that song is kind of letting people know that.
Cool. Next song, Sway.
Sway is just 100% about moving the masses of people on the planet, about opening their minds to, different consciousness, and just being open to ideas rather than being closed off and plugging into, the typical 9-to-5 dumbed down reality.
Right. And your last track?
White Lie, a red herring. It's kind of, that one was a little more personal and specific. It's about watching a friend that you've known for a long time kind of just shrivel up over time and let time get to them, and it's really about kind of letting that go and not letting it affect you and take you down with them. Cool.
Now, do you feel, it's easier for you to, tell your emotions through song than, like, in person?
Everybody in our band is a little different. Me, personally, if you ask the guys in the band, I'm really an emotional person, and it's kind of a roller coaster with me. It's really intense, is a good way to put it. I'm either, extremely one way or the other, and, with music, that is my medium to where it's the positive energy that's going to come out of me. And yeah, I feel like a lot of times with my music and my lyrics, subliminally, my brain is working a lot harder than I realize.
Cool. Now, when you're on stage and you're singing a song, what goes through your mind?
That's a good question. We've had this discussion as a band, and I've said it before to some of our fans, and it's really funny. Most of the time, it's more of a zoned in, kind of blacked out but aware, just focus zone. But oftentimes, I'll find myself completely detached from my body and kind of observing the crowd as they observe me. And I've caught myself looking at individuals and wondering, like, that guy doesn't look like he should be with her, or that's a weird T-shirt for him to be wearing,
Yeah. It's pretty funny. Yeah, it's just a reaction that it's a good question, actually, because I ask a couple people, every once in a while, and one vocalist says, all I think about is, well, how am I going to pay my next bill? Like, you never know, what kind of answer you're going to get, but it's pretty amazing to get the variations of answers and stuff. Do you feel blessed in that you actually get to do something you like that most people, hate their job?
I guess I would say I feel blessed that I have the drive to do what I choose.
Right.
And I think that everybody has that option. And, I have worked my entire life at a job that I don't particularly have the heart to say, this isn't what I'm here for. Obviously, I'm here to make music. And so I would say I feel blessed that I have followed up on talents that I created on my own, just with the rest of the band as well. They all come from a place where we all started as teenagers or pre-teen playing music and have continued on our entire careers, and pushed on our own and individually. So I think that, like I said, I'm blessed that I have the drive, just like the rest of my band, to succeed. And, if that attitude kind of was across the board in the world, I think the world might be a better place.
Oh, definitely. Now, you're getting to go out with Sevendust soon and stuff like that. I just saw them on the Carnival of Madness tour, and
yes.
they were really amazing band. What's your expectation of this tour?
Well, it's an extremely exciting time for us. We had tossed around bands that would be kind of ideal for us to go out with for quite some time, and Sevendust always came up as pretty much right up there with the number one. And when it confirmed, we were extremely stoked because, you always want to play with a like-minded band, and with Sevendust, they're extremely like-minded. Their stage performance is reminiscent of what we do. I mean, we are extremely intense on stage, and we just actually saw, me and our bass player Joseph saw Sevendust at the Palladium Ballroom in Dallas. That was my first time seeing them live, and he had seen them, several times, and it was intense, man. It was like getting an opportunity to watch us and kind of what we do, and I never get that vision, and most of the bands around our town don't really have that energetic kind of stage show, so it was really great. And their songs speak for themselves. They've got 20-something singles over the last 20 years.
Right.
So, yeah, I've always been a fan. Love Sevendust. We're so excited to get out there and just, rock the crowds. We know the crowds are going to be prepared for a band like us, and I think, we're just going to be able to share the family of fans,
Cool. Now, what's the feeling like when someone comes up to you and says, can I have your autograph?
It's one of those things that kind of come with the territory, I guess. Once somebody feels strongly enough that they work up the courage to get up to you, I mean, they don't know you from anything, so without question, it's a great feeling that they'll come up and want to talk about the band. And I like questions from people like that because they ask the most off-the-wall stuff that you wouldn't expect to have to answer, and
right.
Signing the autograph for them, it means a lot to them. And I was lucky enough that the first autograph I ever signed was for an entire family at the Ridgely Theater in Fort Worth. And it was cool. It was cool. The father and the mother were there with their young kids, and their kids really wanted the autograph, and it turns out the father and mother were fans of us to begin with, and it showed their kids, and I don't know, it was a really cool experience for me. So doing that, and I get to see how happy that made the kids, I hope it makes everybody that happy,
Cool. Now, when you see a little kid and they're at your show or whatever, you ever think of what kind of impact you're making on that child?
Absolutely. We're, like I said, we're a lot deeper than most bands go. We have a method to our madness, and our music is really spiritual in a way. We want people to take stuff from it. We want people to extract their own ideas from what the lyrics mean to them, rather than specifically take what subject I was talking about in my own life. We try and keep it broad enough to where the songs have meaning, and they have a broad meaning. I wrote it about something that's, in my life, but I want people to be able to walk away and use it as a lesson in their own life. So, yeah, absolutely. I think that our younger audience, especially when they're checking us out, I think it's extremely important that they know what we're about. They know that although we're aggressive and, the stage show and the screaming and all that can be viewed in a certain way, but it's definitely positive energy that we exude. We're not about negativity at all.
Right. Now, do you feel that you need a record label anymore to make it in the music industry?
It's a tough question for an unsigned band. We came from the old school coming up that was the way to go, and as we have progressed in our career, the need for one has gone away over time. Now, that being said, the way I feel at this moment, with everything going on, it's definitely something, given the right deal, that's one of the only options you can get out there on that massive of a scale. I mean, even independently, you can do really well. You can probably make more money out the front end of the gate there, but, to get out to that massive exposure and have that initial push financially, we still feel definitely that a label would be really important, at least for, to get a record out or get our first record out, and, we're shooting for the stars on that.
Cool. Now, what's your hopes for the rest of the year?
Well, we have some preliminary plans, but hopefully we'll be touring mostly, the rest of the year. Right now we have this Sevendust run, and then we have a couple things lined up afterwards that might be taking us to the end of the year. So for this year, touring, playing, we constantly write, so that's never anything that's kind of planned out. We're writing all the time. We practice 4 days a week, so we're constantly doing our music.
Cool. Well, congratulations on Variables, and, I wish you guys the best. Would you like to say anything to the fans out there?
Just check us out. We're going to be coming to a lot of cities, and we're new bands, so check us out. Check our video out online, and I hope you dig it.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you very much, sir.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.